Hello and welcome to Intensity versus Results. I want to talk to you today about intensity and why it's so important to long-term results. When we talk about intensity, we generally mean how intense something is, usually an extreme degree of strength, force or energy. Intensity could be lifting heavy weights multiple times, it could be doing multiple sprints on a track, or multiple exercises combined one after another to make them more difficult. The intensity of an exercise is usually the deciding factor in the stimulation and the adaptation process that your body has. Take Lean in 60 for example, a 60-day program where you're trying to maximize your results and get as lean as possible. To get the most out of your 60 days, you're going to want to maximize your training as well as your nutrition. Now over 60 days you can change a lot. You can get incredible results, or you can get kind of standard results, or you might not change at all. A lot of this is down to intensity, discipline, consistency and hard work. Generally, the more intense you're willing to go with your exercise and nutrition program, you might find that you get to your goals sooner. But sometimes intensity can be a little bit more difficult to maintain long term. So changes in intensity can be great for stimulating change within the body, whether that be adaptation from exercise or whether that be adaptation from calorie deficit or nutritional changes. You can use the analogy that if you're driving somewhere and your goal is 100 miles away, and if you cruise at 50 miles an hour, it might take you 2 hours. Say you cruise at 50 miles an hour. It's nice and easy, steady and maintainable, and you get there in 2 hours. Or you can put your foot down, pedal to the metal and do 100 miles an hour and you'll get there in a much quicker time. That's intensity. Same destination, but took you different amounts of time to achieve the same result. Generally, it's harder to maintain 100 miles an hour, but with the right planning, you can do this on and off to achieve much better results. Say with reducing weight or body fat, you want to reduce 5 kilos. That 5 kilos could take you 1 year at a nice, slow and controlled pace. Minimal changes to training and exercise and nutrition, but with tiny incremental results. Or you can make big changes that achieve that 5 kilo loss in just a couple of months. Same goal, but different times. The more intense your nutrition or exercise program, the harder it is going to be to maintain, and vice versa. The less intense it is, the easier it's going to be to maintain, but the longer it will take. So going back to our Lean in 60 course, intensity is usually the biggest driving factor that creates the biggest change within the 60 days. If you want incredible results, it's going to have to be more intense, and if you're not willing to change the intensity, then your results may take a little bit longer. An example of this could be this chart. 25% intensity, 50% intensity, and 75% intensity. Over the course of 60 days, those three intensities will equate to a different outcome of body fat, muscle mass, and total weight. With nutrition, the more hardcore the calorie deficit, the harder it is going to be to maintain, but generally the quicker you'll lose weight. Same with exercise and activity levels. The more active you are and the more calories you burn in a day, the quicker you're going to get to your goal of losing, say, 5 kilos. And therefore, the more weight you can lose within the 60 days. Intensity can also be the deciding factor when it comes to plateaus. When people find that they're not changing in weight or body fat or maybe getting stronger or leaner, it can often be down to the intensity of your program. How frequent are your training sessions? How hard are your training sessions? How much resistance or weight are you using for your training sessions? How hard are you finding those training sessions? How high is your heart rate going? Heart rate is a great indicator of the intensity of a workout. Generally, the higher the heart rate, the more intense the exercise. Also, when it comes to nutrition, if you're making massive changes to the quality and quantity of your food, aka the amount of food you're consuming in calories, and also the types of food you're consuming, this can also have a dramatic effect on your overall progress. Consistency with intensity can sometimes be difficult. So having periods of time of intense exercise and nutrition can benefit you in the long run. Following an exercise program where it increases in intensity through multiple weeks and then plateaus and decreases, or what we call deload, where you decrease the resistance and decrease the intensity to allow the body to recover, rest and recuperate, and then come back stronger with more energy. Same with your nutrition. If you found that you've been sticking to a program for a long period of time, a way of eating or types of food, and then you're struggling, maybe it's time to change it up a little bit for a few weeks. Maybe not count those calories or stick to a specific way of eating, and just change up your body's routine for a few weeks. Then your body's ready to go through a harder, more intense period of exercise or nutrition. So going back to our 60-day plan, If you're looking for more intense results that are time limited, aka you need to be a certain weight or a certain size by X amount of time, say 6 to 10 weeks, then your program is going to require you to be more intense. Whereas if you're looking for long-term, more sustainable health, you might reduce that intensity down to 25% and make smaller changes that are easier to maintain in your everyday life. It's okay to switch through different intensities from time to time. Maintaining a few weeks of intense dietary change and exercise regime, followed by a few weeks where we dial down the intensity, can often lead to better long-term progress. When we think about your intensity with an exercise regime, if you've gone from 0 days a week exercising to 5 days a week exercising, that intensity is going to shoot right up. That combined with an overall increased activity level and overall calorie restriction will probably result in quick weight loss. But this intensity is sometimes much harder to maintain and there's a higher risk of burnout, meaning that you can't maintain it and then you have to either plateau or decrease the intensity. Or the option of 25% intensity may suit you a little bit better. With minimal nutrition changes, not really changing too much in your overall diet or the quality or quantity of food, and maybe you're not tracking the amount of calories you consume, and maybe you have a few extra drinks on the weekend or some extra meals out, but you're trying to make a few changes here and there. That might create some change. Same with exercise. Instead of going from 0 to 5 per week, you go from 0 to 2 per week. It might start to create some change, but not as quickly or as intense as the other variations. A combination of these two variations is more ideal for long-term progress. What can also happen is as you get fitter, stronger and leaner, your body starts to adapt to its new regime of food and exercise. The intensity that was once challenging is no longer challenging. Your body has adapted to the stimulus of your new food regime or your exercise program. So therefore the same exercises and nutritional options are no longer going to be beneficial or work for you. To create change at this level requires a bit more intensity and thought. Focusing on performance goals and increasing strength, whilst eating optimally for performance, without overeating to put on high levels of body fat. This is where specific macro percentages can be highly valuable. Optimizing your body's protein, fat and carbohydrate level for your goals. As you become more experienced and closer to your goal, your progress is likely to slow down, as the changes required can no longer be done in a short space of time. They have to be done over a longer period of time. Think about a beginner learning to run 100 meters. It might be possible for the beginner to improve 3 or even 4 seconds over the course of 5 to 8 months. Whereas a professional sprinter like Usain Bolt, it's difficult for him to even shave off microseconds because he's competing at such a high level and his body has already done all the adaptation it can. Hopefully this video helps when you think about your own progress and your own intensity in your workouts and nutrition program, and also give you the confidence to change things up with your own program to make it suit your long or short-term goals. Just remember, if you want your goals sooner, it's going to require you to be more intense in the short term. If you're looking for more long-term sustainable health, then a long-term, less intense approach may be more suitable for you. Hopefully that helps, and I'll see you soon.